How do people end up in a cult? That is a question I constantly ask myself. If you, like me, are fascinated by cults, their beliefs, their leaders, and how their followers get pulled in, then this is the podcast for you. I will cover everything from the more famous cults, lesser known cults, and also groups of people that have cult-like tendencies. This is Decoding Cults, and I am your host, Palsy. The word cult finds its origin from the Latin word cultus, which means inhabited, cultivated, or worshipped. In its original form, the word cult was used to describe a set of religious practices or beliefs of a particular culture. It was later used by some Christian denominations to describe any belief system that was outside of their own belief. In the 1930s and 1940s, they started using the term where they found that some sects or factions of a belief system were unorthodox. It was only in the 1970s when it came to bear the meaning that we are most familiar with now, which is, quote, a relatively small group of people having religious beliefs or practices regarded by others as strange or as imposing excess control over its members, end quote. There's also a famous coin phrase saying cult plus time equals religion. But not all cults are religions and not all cults are bad. In this podcast, I will mainly focus on those with less than good intentions. In this field, there is even more contention over the word cult. Some scholars refer to cults as new religious movements or NRMs. But, as I said before, not all cults are religions, so I'm not going to use this particular terminology. There are a few different types of cults. The most famous and most harmful of these are destructive cults. There are also doomsday cults, polygamist cults, suicide cults, UFO cults, political cults, racist cults, cargo cults, and terrorist cults. Cults have different ways in which they introduce and incorporate their doctrine, but for the most part, they do subscribe to some basic practices. These include a belief in an extreme ideology that is embodied in a charismatic leader, a high level of commitment from its members, it maintains a strict hierarchy, and they claim to provide answers to life's biggest questions, but only through its doctrine. It uses formal and informal influences of control to keep members obedient. They separate members from others, and they are motivated by money, sex, or power. I've often said to myself, I would never get suckered into joining a cult. But if I think about all of the times that I've been very emotionally vulnerable in my life, and someone would have said that one thing that clicked, well, maybe I'd be in one too. People don't just go out and join a cult. Most people don't even know they're in a cult. People that get pulled in are usually people who move to a new city or country and is looking for friends or like-minded communities. It could also be a person who's looking for more meaning in their life, or a vulnerable person who has recently suffered a great loss and has gone through a massive tragedy. It is my opinion that there are those people who join a cult and feed off the power. They climb the ranks quickly and not only enjoy the status, but also some of the more nefarious activities. But there are also those who are so indoctrinated that they will do anything that is requested from them, but are still victims of their circumstances. I will be delving into the beginnings, beliefs, and in some cases tragic ends of cults, while seeking out and highlighting where the behavior turns from benign to malignant. If you enjoyed this short introduction, please hit the subscribe button. You can also find us on Facebook and YouTube, and you can email us at decodingcults@gmail.com. The amazing logo art was created by the tattoo artist Jock Jacobs. Thank you so much for listening.